Hey everyone, okay, so today I'm going to be reviewing a brand I've never heard of before. I just saw them on Cult Beauty and thought I would buy them. I think they've been around for a while. It's Vanity makeup, and I purchased the eyeshadow palette, and I also purchased the contour palette as well. So what I thought I'd do is just do a demo, see what they're like, because I've not really tried them, so let's make a start. I'm going to use the contour palette first, and I'm going to do half a face of it entirely, so we can kind of, I guess, get a thought of what this is going to be like. So I'm going to take the Vanity brush. Now this came with it, this was like a free gift, and I did buy these, by the way. So I use the highlighter shade. The highlighter shade is really creamy, so that's a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is it will probably blend well. Bad thing is I'll probably burn through it quite quickly. So I'm going to highlight my face in the areas that I think will be most flattering for my face. It will be different for everyone. Oh, now I get a text. I've been waiting for a text all morning, and now it comes through. Bit late. Okay. And then I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to do a little bit down the nose, nothing too extreme. That's not a particularly straight line, is it? Look at that. It's basically a curve. This is what happens when you've got a mirror that's a mile away. So I'm going to use the contour shade now. So I'm going to use the contour shade on this entire part here, bringing it out, and then I'm going to bring it up. Obviously here, I'm not bringing it all the way down here because you're going to blend it, it's going to move. So I'm keeping it to this area, and I'm going to do a little bit of contour just down the sides of the nose, nothing extreme. So I'm going to use the other end, and we're just going to blend this in. I'll probably use a sponge just to finish off. So I use the light palette, and I think that's enough. So it blends quite easy. It does blend well, but it's also kind of an oxymoron. It's creamy, but it's a little bit dry at the same time. Not particularly forgiving underneath my eye area, but my eye area is also quite dry at the moment, so that isn't going to help. So I'm just going to go in with a little sponge just to soften these edges, because they're a little bit too much for me at the moment. So I'll go in and I'll now blend the contour shade. And you see what I mean? You see how far it's come down now I blended it? So always err on the side of caution when it comes to contour. It's quite rare for me to contour over foundation. I prefer it under. I'm just going to blend out this nose contour, and then just tap this nose highlight that I've just made really, really wonky. So I might just have to start again there. Honest to God, I've got to get a mirror that's closer to me. I just don't know how to do it. Okay. Just a little bit of nose highlight. It's really quite subtle. I don't really need a maximum amount. My nose, the tip of my nose is quite shiny. Don't know why. So you can see it's pretty subtle the way that I've done it. The product is a little dry. My skin is quite dry because I'm going back into the retinoids. So I'm going to zoom in here, and you'll be able to see, especially underneath the eye, it's quite dry. But that could just be because my skin is buggered at the moment from the retinoids. Let's move on to the eyeshadow palette. I think this is a really pretty palette. Now, obviously there is major similarities between this and Pat McGrath. So that gives me the illusion that the Pat McGrath palette, this actual palette, is probably not custom made. Perhaps it is, but you know, it's quite rare to find a custom made palette that somebody else has really quite literally made the same, but I don't know, it's just my guess. So I'm going to pick a shadow. I'm going to pick this one here. So we're just going to do two. I think personally, people do way too much to their eyes. I see it all the time on YouTube. It gives the illusion that women think that they need to have 20 different colors going on in their eyes at any given time. I'm going to use two. It's my preferred method. Okay, so I'm going to take this color and I'm going to pop this all over the entire eyelid crease, leaving a tiny, tiny bit here at the brow bone. Just all over the lid. Nothing particularly talented about this. Okay, so just remove this. You'll get a lovely angle. Don't worry, we'll fiddle with it in a minute. I'm going to take the Celestial shade now, and I'm just going to rinse this all over that eyelid. There we go. That's really lovely. That's really quite pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to blend the edges. Going to use my little trick, which I always do. Just going to take a little sponge and bleed these edges out into nothing. And now I'm going to apply mascara, and that will complete this review and look. Okay, that's it. So, what's the general thoughts? So the makeup wasn't particularly cheap. The eyeshadow palette was £80, which is cheaper than the Pat McGrath one. You get the same amount of shadows. I actually think the eyeshadow palette is really, really nice. I really do. I think it's excellent. I really like the color combinations. I love everything about this palette. I would purchase this again, very much so. I would probably skip when it, oh, I didn't do the highlighter. I'll do that now as well. There's a highlighter shade as well, which is shimmery. So let's add a little bit of that to the cheekbone. Lovely. That's quite nice. Yeah, it's fine. So I probably wouldn't repurchase the contour and highlight kit just because it's a little bit too creamy and it's not particularly flattering if there's any texture on the face, like this eye area here. I mean, it's not particularly flattering here, and it's certainly clinging to these patches of dry skin here. So I would probably give that a miss. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just not my cup of tea. But the eyeshadow palette, I mean, I think that's really good. Blend that bloody contour colour there. I think that's, I can't even see, I've not even taken the thing off. Honest to Betsy's. Oh, it's not easy, guys, you know. It's really not. Let's actually take a look at that eyeshadow palette, or the eyeshadow look. I really like that. I'm a really big fan of keeping things pretty simple when it comes to eyeshadow. 2 eyeshadows is enough. And I really like it. I would definitely repurchase this. Definitely. All of these are nice colours. They're all on the warmer side, minus the black, to the neutral warm side, but really, really pretty. I'll tell you what we could do. We could add another colour into the crease. Let's add that orange shade, just for fun. We'll still blend it, but let's just see where it takes us, because we used a relatively neutral tone here. So let's just add the red in, just to this outside corner. Oh, that is stunning. I'm going to leave it like that because I've seen many YouTubers do that. Okay, let's just blend the edges. There we go. So we just added that kind of warmer colour just for fun to the crease of the eye, and yeah, it's very nice. Really good eyeshadow palette. Really good eyeshadow palette. There we go. Vanity Cosmetics. I'll put a link in the description bar if you're interested. There we go. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Bye bye.